I created this gig on Fiverr 24 days ago, made an optimal listing, and was able to make $1,200 across the month with minimal effort. But there are some things that you should note. Number one, this was in the very first month, and as I scale on Fiverr, it's very possible I'll make even more in month 2 and 3. Number two, I've already built up an established Fiverr profile across the past 2 years on other gigs, although this was my first time selling in several months. And three, I have a bit of design background that helps this gig type, although just a beginner knowledge in this skill set should be good for what this gig is. First, you'll need to create a Fiverr account. I have a full tutorial posted on how to do so on my channel, but the biggest things to keep in mind are, number one, creating a consistent and professional brand. Number two, injecting some personality where you can with your name and your pictures throughout your profile. This is especially important when you're incorporating AI into the job process, so you're making up for it with some humanity where you can. When I was selling, I even did things like offering to hop on a video call with my clients, which gave me a huge advantage and allowed my clients to connect with me personally. You'll also need to build a compelling gig posting, which I have a video coming out for very soon, but the big thing to keep in mind is to make sure that it is very professional and clean looking. Make sure to compare your gig listing versus the top ones in the field and make sure it stands out. And don't be afraid to hire someone to design it. Your gig photo and title and description are basically your digital storefront. If it looks bad, no one will come regardless of how good the service is. If you want to incorporate even more AI, you can ask ChatGPT for help creating your title, description, and keywords, although I recommend running the results by yourself as well to make sure they really do fit in and sound like the others in the field and don't just sound completely AI generated. Remember, while the work will be AI generated, it's important to use these other opportunities like the gig and the interactions to be personal and genuine as possible to make up for that. While AI is part of the service we're going to offer, Fiverr does have it in your terms that you need to disclose in your gig description use of AI. So we can just add a note at the bottom here that says something along the lines of, we use several AI tools to assist in the creation of our works for inspiration and other purposes. You can feel free to use mine, feel free to create your own, but we do need a little bit of a disclaimer here to let the buyers know that we will be using AI, as this is what is required nowadays. Now, as mentioned previously, this service is in the design niche, specifically in icon creation. A quick search for icon design on Fiverr will show us that there are many sellers earning thousands a month creating custom icons, usually ranging between $5 to $15 for every icon created. If you're familiar with my Fiverr strategy, you'll know I advocate for starting selling at the lowest price point you can and slowly scaling your pricing up. There are 2 reasons why a buyer might choose your service. Number one is because they believe that you are the best buyer, and people are validating that based on the reviews and portfolio you build up on Fiverr. But as a new seller, you're not going to have that, so you have to compete on the other metric, which is value. And that's why I recommend starting at the lowest price point. And for these first couple orders, you should not be worrying about making money and more worrying about getting reviews and building up your brand so that you can start raising your rates quickly. So we can even start at these 2 icons for $5 and create the listing. For your first order, this is always going to be the hardest one to get because without any reviews, you'll blend in with the hundreds of other Fiverr listings with no reviews, and it'll be really hard to get this order organically. That's why I recommend tapping into your existing network to see if anyone needs the service you're offering, in this case, icon designs. While Fiverr prohibits asking friends or yourself from ordering your service, specifically to review or jack up your rating, if you have a friend who specifically needs the service that you are offering and you actually provide it, they are also welcome to leave a review at the end if they were satisfied. I also had a friend who needed this service, so I was able to get my first order without the lengthy process of waiting for my first order to come in organically through Fiverr. Once you get this first review, we could quickly scale up to 1 icon for $5, and after we get a few more reviews, we could even get up higher than that. The big things here are to make sure that you're leaving all of your customers fully satisfied. Oftentimes this means going way over the top to make this happen. Reviews just matter way too much on Fiverr not to do so, even if it hurts sometimes. And then also just make the ask. So many buyers on Fiverr won't leave a review just because they don't think to do so. And if you make the request, they will be so much more likely. But back to the order we just got, now is where here the AI comes in. First off, you'll need to make sure you have Figma downloaded. Figma is a free design tool primarily used in UI design. It's incredibly intuitive and easy to use, and it's free, which has made it a crowd favorite amongst designers. I also recommend taking a few lessons to get acquainted with Figma. There are many YouTube series teaching the basics for free, and you can get a real hang of it in just a few hours. And really, if you want to go at this with as minimal effort as possible, possibly even just 10 to 15 minutes, you can get the basics down. Now for the AI part. We're going to be installing a plugin for Figma called Magician. The company behind Magician describes it as a magical design tool for Figma that's powered with AI. You can design with the power of AI to do everything from copywriting to generating unique icons from text, which is what we'll be using it to do. Their text to icon feature allows you to enter text and an icon will come out no matter how specific your request is. And best of all, Magician is currently in a free public beta, so it won't cost you a thing. This video is not sponsored at all. I used it because it really works and has led to the success and case study that I'm sharing in this video. You'll just have to go to their website, sign up for an account, and get an access key. Then you'll need to download the plugin on your Figma account. Once you have the access key, you'll go back into Figma, plug in the access code for the plugin, and it will start to work. Open up the text to image section, and here you'll be able to ask for any prompt, and the plugin will spit out 4 examples in the vector format. Let's start with something somewhat specific like spoon with honey. The image will generate. This will just take a couple of seconds, and then once it generates, you can see 4 icons here. I think all 4 of these are great. Some of them are a little better than others. If you don't like what you see, obviously you can just regenerate it again and you'll get a completely new set of icons. But if I like one here, I can just click on one and it will begin to bring it into the program. Now, if you learned a thing or two about Figma, you should now be able to make any changes you need in colorings and even go in, and because these are vectors, adjust any of the points on these vectors themselves to really make them custom beyond the AI and fix any errors that the AI might not have quite got right or understood. Now, just to go over there, that could have been a customer's order that was paying $5 to $15 for the icon, and it took us less than a minute to create. Let's do another example. Let's try pickleball. Let's give it a second to generate, and then once again, we've got 4 new icons. And you'll be able to export them in any format. And because these are vectors, you'll even be able to export them in SVGs at any size. Now let's do one more here. We'll do AirPods. Give it a second, and there you go. You have your icons in seconds and completely free. We've generated 3 icons here. This could have been as much as $45 worth of work, and it took us just a couple of minutes to complete, even if we went to the effort of doing some customizations, perhaps making one of the sides bigger, perhaps adjusting the proportions. There's plenty you can do within Figma to take these vectors and adjust them to make them your own in case the AI doesn't produce the result you were looking for. One of the best things I've found is buyers tend to order the icons in batches of 10 to 20 at a time, rather than just one icon at a time. So instead of worrying about $5 to $10 orders, I'm able to do $50 to $300 orders at a time and save time throughout this. Before I get to my big secret, just a couple of things with Fiverr. Number 1, make sure to respond quickly to buyers on Fiverr, as Fiverr will give you a score on this. That means always having the last word in a conversation. A lot of sellers I know use bots or autoresponders to make sure they get a response in immediately. Because the other way, other than reviews, your Fiverr exposure will go up is by leveling up with Fiverr's level system. They have levels on Fiverr, level 1, level 2, and then top seller on Fiverr. And you will need a fast response rate in order to level up. With this AI platform, Magician, generating icons, I've been able to do almost $1,200 in sales in just 24 days. And I'll continue with it in the next few weeks to see the results. As mentioned, especially with my scaling Fiverr method, the best results come after month 1, in month 2 and 3, and even further as you scale higher and keep raising your rates. But if any of you want to run with this idea, go for it, you're welcome to do so. But my big secret is the team behind Magician also has 2 other AI tools that I think are great that I didn't even mention in this video. So you can check them out to find a totally new opportunity, or also make sure to subscribe, because this won't be the last time I post a Fiverr secret and trick. If you're interested in learning more, I have a free guide on how you can start it and make your first $1,000 freelancing. There's a link below in my bio, and I'm also available for one-on-one consultations if you want that extra step. If you're ready to get started working for yourself, achieving freedom, jump on it, and I'll see you next time.